Hi everyone. I'm going to be offering you a sort of ebb and flow vinyasa style yoga to get a little bit more of a practice and feel for how you might offer or how you might practice in more of a breath to movement vinyasa style. So we're just going to start in seated. Find your comfortable seat. So I'm not gonna use a lot of props in this particular one, simply because I can't find my blocks. So it's it's gonna be block free. If you prefer blocks, please by all means grab your blocks and have them for your practice. I prefer blocks. I just don't have them right now. So just starting and seated. And what I'm going to offer are different kind of sequences and flows that you can go through to be able to find a little breath to movement for your practice. So the first one we'll do is starting in seated. So before we start, again, just get comfortable. Notice yourself here in this space. Maybe let go of any tension that you're holding in your body that maybe isn't serving you right now. That could be in your shoulders, spine, your head and neck. For me, I gotta wiggle around a little bit and just sort of notice, okay, holding tension in my neck. I need to let that go. In my shoulders, let that go. And find a spot where I can be really relaxed, but still long spine, still upright, still activating to kind of hold myself um, comfortably upright. It's like that effortless effort, right? Take a minute here just to connect to this space, connect to your seat, connect to yourself. What does this feel like for you right now? Where are you at right now? Where's your body? How are you feeling? Connect to your breath. What is that like right now? Your breath, we're going to be doing breath and movement stuff. The breath is super important. Where is it right now? Is it light, rapid? Is it slow, more sticky? Is it somewhere in between those two? Just smooth. There's no right or wrong. It just is. Breath, body. Wherever your breath is, you start to think about when I breathe just slowly in and out through my nose. Can I find a way to connect to breathing with my diaphragm and letting my chest be really still? Just take a minute to see if you can connect to that breath. It doesn't have to be big, deep, right? It's just letting it drop down low, letting your chest be still. Maybe slowing it down just a little bit. It's the breath that I would love to offer you to connect with throughout your practice today. We're maybe going a little bit faster. I'm going to come back to this breath. So woolly cats might pop in and out of the video from time to time. Just happens. Just take a couple more here. And then we're going to start to think about movement, just with simple movements of the spine. And then finding a way to connect those movements with our breath. So we'll start just in our seat. If you need to readjust your legs in any way, feel free to take a little adjustment through your legs. We're starting with some seated cat-cows. So we're just going to start to open through the front of the body, lifting heart up, maybe lifting the gaze. We're not moving with our breath right now, so allow yourself to just breathe and be in that space. And then you might round your spine and look back toward your belly. Come back to neutral. Maybe take one more of those in each direction. Just get a feel for that. Opening and rounding. Stay connected to your breath if you like, but really we're just not focused on moving with the breath right now. The next one we'll do is some side stretches. So maybe just start to find a side stretch on one side. I like to bring fingertips to my shoulder for that. You might extend your arm by having your hand by your side. No right or wrong way to do this. It's just a side stretch. And then maybe take that on the other side when you're ready. I like to let my head drop, ears over my shoulder. Just stretches through the neck as well. Maybe one more of those on each side. Just taking a few breaths in each space. Right now. And then back to neutral. From here, we're going to just find a little twist to one side. So just turning to the side, let my hands come down wherever they land. Maybe looking back over my shoulder to take that twist on one side. So not pulling or forcing, I'm just pulling my hands rest. Moving the lower ribs. Moving back to center. Take that little twist on the opposite side. And then back to center. So for our movements, matching breath to movements, we can take those 6 movements and find a way to bring breath into that. So I'll just give you an example, cueing through that with breath. You can follow along if that works for you with your breath, or your breath might be slightly different from what I'm doing. Maybe you're exhaling when I'm inhaling, or you're inhaling when I'm exhaling. Doesn't matter. It's just a space to find a way to move with your breath. So for me, I'm going to start in seated with inhaling as I find my seated cow arch, and exhaling to seated cat, rounding. Inhaling back to neutral spine, and then exhaling for that side stretch on one side. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling to the other side. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, twisting to one side. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, twisting to the other side. Inhaling back to center. It's really simple movement to breath. And again, your breath might have been different. You might have gone slower, you might have gone faster. So this is about your breath. I'm going to go through that sequence 2 more times. And I encourage you to move through that sequence 2 more times on your own at your pace with your breath. So really tune into that breath. Notice what it wants to do, right? So as you're inhaling, as soon as you're done, maybe there's a little pause there, but then go ahead and exhale, even if I haven't moved yet, right? Or even if I've already moved, let your breath be your guide. So I'll move through that sequence 2 more times, and you're welcome to follow along with me or use your breath as your guide. So I'm just going to start with those seated cat cows. And I'm not going to cue breath, so that's up to you. So with your breath. I'm moving with line. This is probably different. Start with the seated cat cows and then move into the side stretches. And then the twists on each side. And then one more time. Just pause here for a moment. You take a little longer to come back to center. It's totally fine. Back in the neutral spot in your brain. Here, I'm going to go ahead and move into tabletop, coming to my hands and knees. If you want props here under your hands, please grab those. Right, place a blanket under your knees. We're not going to be here very long, so just find a position that feels good for you right now. And know that if the table is not working for you, you can always sit back for this part. From here, we'll just start to take a few cat cows into the table. So maybe you just let your belly really soft, drop toward the mat. Maybe you lift your gaze. Hang out there for a few breaths. And then when you're ready, round through the spine. And then maybe you move back and forth between those 2 spaces with your breath for a few rounds. So that might be inhaling as you arch. And then exhaling as you flex your spine around your spine. Okay, move at your own pace with your breath. Back and forth. In a way that makes sense in your body. Go back to neutral when you're ready. From here, I'm going to move into a downward dog. If down dog's not in your practice, feel free to skip it. I'm going to curl my toes under, lift my knees and hips, press back to downward dog. Stay in table instead of in line. If you're in down dog, you might pull out your heels. You're good to just press one heel to the mat and then the other. And you're bending your knees deeply, pressing back a little further if that feels good. Watch that tension in your shoulders. And blocks under your hands are a great option here that I wish I had right now. And then just stepping your hands and feet together when you're ready. Find that neutral spine. Bend your knees as much as you need to, lengthening out through your spine. You might bring your hands to your legs. Slowly come all the way up to your mountain. Come from your mountain. From here, we're going to move through a sun salutation A. So just take your time to settle into your mountain first. Maybe you put a little space between your feet, let your shoulders relax, let your head find a neutral position. And then I'm going to take you through a sun salutation, skipping the plank to chaturanga movement, just to kind of simplify it, keep it really simple for a class where we might want to leave that out. So from here, we're just going to start to bring arms overhead. You might open through the front of your body a little bit. I always like to offer a little bit of a back bend here. So you want to open a little bit, lifting your heart up, maybe lifting your gaze. And then start to fold forward, hinging from the hips. Find a forward fold with a neutral spine. Bend your knees as much as you need to bring your hands to the mat. And we'll step our feet back for a downward dog. Take a few breaths there. Again, it's nice to walk your dog, pedal out your heels, one foot and there. We'll just step hands and feet back together. I like to move my feet about halfway, and then my hands the rest of the way. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Find that length through your spine. Maybe bring your hands to your legs, and then come all the way up. Maybe arms are overhead, and then you might bring your hands through the center and back to your sides for mountain. So those are the movements that we're going to use for this sun salutation. Again, I'll cue it a little bit faster with my breath. Yours might be different. And then I'll give you an opportunity to go through it a couple of times on your own with your breath as you're done. So for me, I might go inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward, hands to the mat. Inhale, back to downward dog. Exhale, step forward, feet and hands together. Inhale, come all the way up, arms overhead. Figure out little back bends, and exhale to mountain. So, same thing, 2 more times here, moving at your pace with your breath. You can watch me, or if you know those movements, you can go ahead and just do it on your own, or we'll meet back in mountain. I'm going to start with an inhale, arms overhead. One more time for me. And we're meeting back in the mountain whenever you finish with that second round. If you're already there, let's take a minute in mountain. Roll out your shoulders, and neck. Take any movement that feels good. Grab a drink of water if you want to. When you finish with that last round, and you meet back in mountain, we'll move into a sun B salutation with stepping leg back on each side and coming up into crescent lunge. So the movements of that are to, you can bring your arms overhead. You can always skip the arms overhead if your shoulders are feeling really tense. It's just a nice movement to kind of breathe in, take a little back bend. And then we'll find a chair. I like to bring my hands to heart center, let hips move back and knees move forward. Take a few breaths. And then we'll fold forward over those legs. Step our feet back to downward dog. couple breaths there. Always step back to tabletop if downward dog is not working for you. And then we'll just step hands and feet together. All the way up. Back to chair. And I'm just going to step one foot back here. You bring the heel down or leave the heel up. Bring the upper body up. Find our crescent. Slightly different versions of the bring your hands down, step that back foot up to join the front, maybe back to your chair. And then maybe the opposite foot goes down. Bring the upper body up, maybe arms up as well. Find your crescent lunge. Again, feel over down. Totally fine. And then step back to chair. It's a lot of work with our legs, so just take it easy on yourself. And then you can just come all the way up, maybe reaching arms overhead. Do that little back bend and back to mountain. So I'm going to cue that again, moving with my breath. See how this works out. You can follow along with me, or maybe match your breath. You might start with inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hold your chair. Take an inhale. Exhale, go forward. Inhale, step back to downward dog. Take a breath. One more inhale. Step your feet and hands together. Exhale. Inhale, back to chair. Exhale, step one foot back. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, back to chair. Inhale, crescent lunge, other side. Exhale, back to chair. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through right center and to your sides. That is one possible way to match your breath. There's probably a million different ways to match your breath. So you get the opportunity just to play with that and see what your breath wants to do, how it wants to match up with those movements. And again, 2 more times. When you're ready, just starting with that. Inhale and arms overhead. Feel free to match my movements if you want to just let the breath go. Nothing wrong with that at all. Just move. Want to match breath movement in some way. Just curious, right? Explore. Maybe it's different each time. That was one round for me. I'm going to take one more. Keep moving at your own pace. Keep exploring, keep being curious. Moving into chair. And then hold. Downward dog. Hold. Chair. way along. Both sides. Back to it. Awesome. Just do one more. A little fun here. Turning to face the long side of your mat. And then just step your feet a little wider. Shoulder part feels good, right? I like to kind of bounce back and forth. Find a spot that feels good. And then find a little bit of a wide leg forward fold here. I'm actually only coming down halfway here. You keep a little bleed through the spine. Tailbone in front of the head, reaching in opposite directions. Taking a few breaths there. Come on all the way back up when you're ready. Scootching your feet in a little closer. Rotate those hips out, or those leg bones out, so our knees and toes are pointing slightly outward, sinking down into our goddess. Take a few breaths there. And then you might straighten those legs. Maybe reach the arms up for a moment. Same thing, maybe a little gentle back bend would feel good. And then sinking down again. Land your goddess. This time we'll take a little twist to one side. Moving from those low ribs, just turning beyond your head and neck into it. Hold your shoulders. Then the opposite side. Let's welcome to stand up between those two straightened legs. Back to center. Straighten those legs. You're reaching overhead. And stepping our feet back together. So just a small flow sequence here. And again, I'll give you some ideas of how you might match your breathing movement for that sequence. So maybe you step your feet out and bring arms overhead. As you inhale, exhale, find your forward fold. Take a breath there, in and out. On your next inhale, come all the way back up, bringing hands heart up to heart center. Exhale, find your goddess legs. Maybe walking the feet a little closer. Inhale, straighten the legs, arms overhead. Exhale, sinking back to goddess. Take an inhale, exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Take an exhale. Inhale, straighten your legs, reaching up. Exhale, back to normal. It's just one way, one possible way. Match your breath and the way that makes sense to you. So we'll start with that. Bringing legs wide, breathing in. And then move from there with your breath. Your forward fold, you might pause for a breath there. Up into the goddess, feet a little closer together, externally rotated. Opening, straightening the legs, back to the goddess. Finding your twist to each side with your breath. Can you give yourself permission to just move and breathe together in a way that makes sense for you, even if every single time is different? What does it feel like to just let go of any expectation of what that breath and that movement looks and feels like? And it's just moving and breathing. Do that one more time. Wonderful. Yes. Letting the twist on each side. Back to mountain. Yes. Awesome, guys. So just a few sequences, a few flows. There's so many you can do. That's just a little sample from here. We're going to just flow back to the floor and move into a child. So just bring your arms overhead when you're ready. Find your forward fold. Nice neutral spine. Knees nice and bent. You might step back to your down dog one more time. If that feels okay to you. Filling out your heels again. Bring your knees to the mat. From here, I'm going to take my knees a little wider, sticking hips back toward my heels and upper body to the mat. Find a comfortable child's pose for your body. So that's props, if that's on your back, if that's hips lifted, whatever it is. So a space to just relax and let go to find the best version for yourself. And now we're going to make our way back up to table. If it would feel good to you to take a few more cat cows with your breath, feel free to do that. Do 2 or 3 rounds. Or if it would feel nice to do a little wag the dog, maybe you bring your shoulder and hips toward each other on one side and then the other. For some side stretches, what combination of those two. And then when you feel ready, we'll go ahead and meet back and seated, bringing nice around in front, bringing the soles of the feet together. Just take one seated butterfly together. For this one, I'm just going to offer a gentle rock. So I want to be moving from my hip joint here, not from my spine, so not rounding my spine forward. So my spine's going to stay nice and long. And I'm just going to rock here. You might find a space for yourself where you're rocking in a rhythmic way with your breath that might feel really nice. You can just let yourself breathe and gently rock back and forth, just loosening up those hip joints, enjoying the sensation of rocking. It feels good at some point to kind of settle into stillness. Maybe you rock forward and hold in stillness for a few minutes. Might feel nice to let your chin drop to your chest, any tension out of the back of your neck. And then when you're ready, bringing those knees back together, coming all the way down to your back. Find a way to get to your back that feels right to you. Lots of ways to get there. You can use your boat if you wanted to. Just roll back onto your side and lower down. So many ways. It doesn't matter. We're just finding a spot on our back that feels good. It might feel nice to bring your feet to the mat and just kind of windshield wiper your legs side to side. And then coming back to center when you're ready, back to neutral. I'm going to take just a couple of rounds of bridge here. If you'd like to join me, if you wouldn't, that's totally fine. If you want to join me for bridge, you might just bring your hands down by your sides, gently press into your feet, and lift your hips straight up. So those knees are going to go forward a little bit. Hips come straight up. We're trying to keep a neutral spine here. Just take a few breaths there. Lower back down when you're ready. So it might be interesting to you to do that movement with your breath in some way. So maybe that's inhaling, lifting your hips, exhaling, lowering back down. Could be the opposite. You could also add in bringing your arms overhead on your inhale and back down on your exhale. So that might look like this. Inhaling, lifting, arms overhead. Exhaling, lowering back down, arms down. So just take a few rounds of that if you'd like to. And then we'll just meet with our hips lowered, back on the mat. We're just going to take a little twist here, kind of end our practice without any tension on our spine. So I'm just going to start to bring both knees to the mat, both legs to the mat on one side, letting my hips stack. So for me, that means that the shoulder pops up off the mat. Totally fine. I can still bring my arm down to the mat. If you can do that, that's awesome. If you can't do that, that's fine as well. You just bring your hand to your side. So the idea is to have your shoulders somewhat close to the mat, ish, if possible. If not, then we just, just find a way that arm is comfortable. There's lots of ways to get into a twist. This is just one. Just take a few breaths here. Connect to that breath again, right? That diaphragmatic breath. Are you in a space where that breath didn't really change at all? That it's just still that slow, mindful in and out through the nose? Or did it change in some way? And now it's time to kind of slow it back down. Again, you're right or wrong. Just be curious. You can take that on the other side when you're ready. So I just like to kind of walk my feet back to center. Just scooch over a little bit because my wall's in the way here. And then just let your knees fall to the opposite side. Kind of stacking knees and hips. And then let your shoulders sort of relax wherever they land. And again, if that means just bringing your arm down by your sides. See benefit either way. One's just a little bit more of a shoulder stretch than the other. Find your breath again. Maybe slowly in and out through your nose. And then we'll just come back to center. Just going to offer a little space for a Shavasana. So if you want to take a Shavasana, you feel free to maybe just send your legs out long, or you might want to be on your side, your stomach seated. There's no really right or wrong way to do Shavasana. It's just a space to be, relax, let go for a couple of minutes. Just be here, be present. And whenever you're ready, just start to maybe take a little notice of that breath one more time. Slowly in and out through your nose. It's your practice to find a little gratitude for yourself, for your practice, for your body, for that breath. You connect to that idea of gratitude right now. And then you can start to find some movement, wiggling fingers and toes maybe. Might take a stretch, come onto one side. Take your time, in your own time, when you're ready, and bring yourself back to end your practice in whatever way you like to end your practice. Thank you for being here, for joining me. I hope you enjoyed exploring that maybe slightly different way of breath to movement. And let me know if you had questions, if it connected for you, if you have concerns or anything that came up. I love the conversation. I love the conversation of what comes up when you guys kind of experience the material in the classes and start to embody the practices. So just let me know if you have questions. Thanks for being here. Next time.